if we're going to extend it, if we're going to go into extra innings, I mean, we can't even be talking about Sanford. The guy to talk about now is John Ensign from Las Vegas. I mean, from Nevada. So he's a senator from Nevada. Now, apparently, there's some organization in DC called the Family, which is like Promise Keeper, conservative Republican types. Tom Coburn, who's another senator, is one of the kind of the heads of this organization. Sanford was a member when he was a senator, and Ensign is a member. So this guy, one of his senior aides to his campaign, guy he'd known for some time, and his wife, the guy's wife, was the treasurer of his campaign office, and his aide, this woman's husband, worked in D.C. with the guy. He was like his chief of staff. So anyway,
Get
their
to the
house in
sex, though. Get to
Nevada.
the sex part.
All right, their house in Nevada. The Hamptons. This is Doug Hampton, who worked for John Ensign, and his wife, who worked for John Ensign as well. The Hamptons' wife was broken into, and the Ensigns invited them to stay with them. And this happened, like I believe, in the holiday '07 period. While they were staying with the Ensigns, John Ensign and Doug Hampton's wife got it on,
Awesome.
and didn't find out about this until a text message that he saw, which I guess was explicit in some way. It came out, and a discussion ensued among the families, and their kids were there. I mean, I don't know if it was the older kids or whatnot. The whole thing was already sounding pretty nutty, and they agreed to sort of try and move forward. But apparently, well, according to Doug Hampton, it's just one side. This guy went on TV in Nevada, let me back up a little bit. The whole reason we even know about this is what happened was Doug Hampton is at his wit's end. The guy is still pursuing his wife, even though he and his wife are now trying to make a go of it. The senator is still pursuing his wife, and he's like, I need help. He had actually gone to this organization, the Family, in DC. They had convinced Ensign, yo, dude, you need to break this off. You need to write a letter to the guy's wife, basically saying it's over, saying you did wrong. He agrees to do it. They drive him to FedEx to make sure he FedExes the letter. And within 24 hours, he's called her, told her the letter's on the way, saying, don't believe the hype, goes down, flies back to Nevada, and they get it on again. So this
Wow.
guy's at his wits end, and he basically sends a letter to Megyn Kelly, who's an anchor at Fox News, telling her, please, basically breaking the whole thing down and telling her, "Yo, won't somebody help me get this guy away from my wife?"
Why didn't he
On
just
Fox
fucking
News,
like bail from the wife? I don't get it, dude.
dude, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, you got to put your wife in check. But But then what happens is the guy gets wind that Ensign gets wind that this is about to break, and he holds a press conference admitting admitting that he betrayed his wife, and that's how the whole thing goes public. So now, since
Did
then, I guess
someone
last
mention
week,
farting? Sorry, I'm just
Hampton
playing.
Hampton gives an interview where he lays this out and comes across as alternately sad, and you realize the kind of bind he's in because he and his wife are both dependent on Ensign for their livelihood since they both work for him, or at least they were at the time. They were since. Well, let me back up. But anyway, this guy's sounding very pathetic, very distraught, very upset. So what had finally happened was that they were effectively bought off for their silence to get them out of the situation and whatnot. And this is where it gets even crazier. So not only is this guy clearly in the family, not only they sort of feel like he's so weak-willed that they need to drive him to FedEx to make sure he sends the letter, which they turn out to be right because, like I said, he ducks back and gets with her again. This guy, he cuts her a check out of his campaign funds for $25,000, but then gets his parents, because he comes from money, each of his parents writes a check for $12,000. So it's so 24,000 from his family, I mean from his parents to Doug Hampton, his wife, and each of their two kids. So $96,000 altogether. and sets them up with a consulting job. But according to Doug, he's still pursuing the wife even after this is going on. The whole thing is like really crazy, but you're just like, what is up with these people? Like you've got your parents helping you pay off your mistress. You've got this whole weird organization in Washington. I don't know what the hell is up, but that was Mark Sanford is old news. John Ensign is the new hotness on
So
the DC scandal front.
is Ensign Republican or Democrat? That's all that matters.
To Jeff, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let Jeff guess. Jeff, what's your guess?
I'm
Oh,
gonna
come
go
on, he's a
Democrat.
Republican.
I'm
He's a
going Democrat
Republican.
this time.
He's a Republican.
Wrong. He's Republican.
Wow.
Okay.
I was just trying to be nice. I was trying to go, oh, I know he's Republican because they're all